So what is the problem with scar tissue? Scars can affect the body's ability to heal. So how does that happen? When the skin is cut, it can interfere with a part of the nervous system called the sympathetic nervous system. What we find in nutrition response testing is that that can cause the body to not understand the healing process as well as it could, or it even can interfere with the healing of an organ or more than one organ. When we handle the childbirth scars, the woman's postpartum depression gets better, and she might not even know by that time that it's still postpartum depression. It might be 30 years later. I've seen this happen over and over again. Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Lisa Gordon. I'm here at the Natural Health Improvement Center of Columbia, Maryland, where we do chiropractic and nutrition response testing, and we help people get through barriers to healing. You may have seen a video that I did recently about barriers to healing and an explanation of what is nutrition response testing. So you'll hear a little bit more today about one of those barriers to healing, which is scars. We don't really think about scars much after they've healed, so maybe you cut yourself, or maybe you had a surgery, or maybe you fell down and had a boo-boo when you were a kid, or any number of things. You might have cut yourself or burned yourself. All of those things cross the barrier that is the skin. So we've got a nice barrier that's our skin, and if something crosses it, it can create a scar. By crossing it, I mean something that often draws blood, sometimes doesn't. It heals with what we call scar tissue. Now, so what is the problem with scar tissue? It heals, you're no longer bleeding, you no longer have red spots. Sometimes after surgeries or other injuries, we do still have red spots that do indicate that perhaps they haven't healed 100%. Well, the interesting thing that we find in nutrition response testing is that these scars can affect the body's ability to heal. So how does that happen? We have parts of our nervous system, and there's something called the sympathetic nervous system. It's the sympathetic nervous system. You've heard me talk about it before. There's also a parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is the part of the nervous system that's kind of the get up and go. It is not the part that necessarily completely runs the heart, the lungs, the involuntary parts of our body, but it's more like the one that we need to get up and go. So part of that system, most of that system, runs on the surface of the body. So if it is cut, then it gets affected. When the skin is cut, it can interfere with a part of the nervous system called the sympathetic nervous system. What we find in nutrition response testing is that that can cause the body to not understand the healing process as well as it could, or it even can interfere with the healing of an organ or more than one organ. So what we need to do is figure out whether a scar is causing some difficulty with the healing process. And you might be wondering, how does that happen? Well, as you might know, we have nerves in our body, and they kind of look like this, and then they have a space, and little messages jump across that space and go to another nerve, and then another one, and so on. We have billions of these processes happening in order for something to happen over here. This needs to happen and that and that and that and that and that and that and that, and eventually the message gets there so that the thyroid can work, or so that the eyes can work, or so that the liver can work, or any number of parts of the body. So if that message gets caught in a scar, then that message can get binged off in a different direction. If this message is supposed to go this direction, but it gets into a scar, that message could get binged off into another direction, and that's why we say anything can cause anything. One of the things I see a lot of is women who've had postpartum depression well after the time of the hormones normalizing. So the hormones should normalize again after childbirth, and then the woman breastfeeds, and eventually her hormones should get back to normal, and perhaps that depression that may have been caused in part by the hormone changes of childbirth, you would think would get better. However, it doesn't. So until we handle the scars, and we have very easy ways of correcting these scars, the scar tissue can heal even better, and then this doesn't happen anymore, but instead it goes right through there, the messages that need to happen. When we handle the childbirth scars, the woman's postpartum depression gets better. And she might not even know by that time that it's still postpartum depression. It might be 30 years later. I've seen this happen over and over again. So I've also seen knee pain get better from a scar on an elbow. It's a little strange because you're thinking, how could this affect that? And it isn't as direct as a structural thing like this scar now is causing me not to be able to straighten my arm because it's pulling. It's not that. It's on the nervous system level. So if you want to go and watch more about the barriers to healing, that's a really good video that I did, and it goes into more barriers to healing, how do metals and chemicals and foods and immune challenges cause healing to not be able to happen as easily. And scars are one of the things that we really must address, and I don't know any other system besides nutrition response testing that really addresses it on this level. So as a result of handling these scars, and we do it topically, there's a oil that we put on the skin, and that usually takes about 3 months or so of doing that a couple of times a day, and it's a specific kind of oil that we use in nutrition response testing. And the scar gets better, and then the organs can function better and the person's health improves. If you'd like to know more about nutrition response testing and how practitioners of nutrition response testing like me help people to get well, please either comment below or let me know if you have somebody in another part of the country. There are lots of us working in this way, and I'll be happy to help you find somebody in your area. Or if you'd like to talk to me, please give us a call.